Hi, my name is Lupita, and today I wanted to talk to you all about some of my favorite Wattpad books. Some of them I will say are Harry Styles fanfictions, but I do not know why, but Harry Styles fanfiction just hits a certain way, and some of them are really good and they're not cringy. I feel like a lot of Wattpad books are very cringy, and also there is some of the books have way too much spice and not enough storyline, which I really hate. So these are some of my favorite Wattpad books that are actually written very well, and I really enjoyed reading them. So I'm going to start off with the Harry Styles fanfiction. If you see me looking down, it's because I have my phone right here just so that I can tell you what the author's name is. So her it's called Stall by Mystery Mixtapes, and in this it's two books, Stall and Stall 2, and for this particular book it follows Abby, and Abby went to visit one of her best friends in Australia. Honestly, I don't really remember where it takes place, but I know that Abby and her best friend went to go try out a bar. I think they were gonna go see a band or something like that, and Abby sees Harry from a distance and she thinks that he's attractive, and I think her best friend knows who he is and introduces him to her, and he takes her to a stall bathroom for them to have a conversation. She's very shy and skitterish and rambles a lot, and so basically what happens is that they have a one-night stand because she's never done that before, and they do the deed and they walk away not really knowing about each other anymore. I think it's set 3 years later, and she actually moves to the place where her best friend was living. I'm not sure if it was Australia or something like that, but she moves there and she is getting tattoos, so she has become a bit more outspoken and she carries herself in a better way than she did when she had first met Harry. And she's outside of the tattoo parlor, and Harry sees her from one of the apartment complexes from across the street or something like that, and they haven't seen each other since then. That's essentially how the story starts, and it's very good. There's a lot of action in it and the romance is really good. There is a lot of spice scenes, but it's not the whole gist of the whole book. I feel like sometimes spicy books are just all about the spice and there's not really a lot of plot or anything like that. So I really enjoyed this series because she does a really good job of balancing all of what is spice, action, character development, humor. She does a very good job of that. She also has another one of my favorite books, which is called Perspective, and she hasn't finished this book, and I don't know if she ever will. I don't know how long it's been since she posted a chapter for this book, but I really enjoyed reading it up until the point where she kind of hasn't been posting. But this book follows someone, give me a second, I forgot their names. It follows a girl. Her name is Drew, and she is a very reserved girl. You can tell that she's been through some things, and she is forced to go to a party because her best friend, his cousin is moving there, and they're kind of throwing him a party, and he is forcing her to go with him. And I know that party setup books are so cliche and outdone and overrated, and they're really, the way that they're set up, it's just not good. But this one literally had my jaw on the floor. So she goes to this party and it literally had my jaw on the floor, and you'll just have to read it in order for you to find out what happens. But whatever you think happens, you would never even be able to guess what happened at this party. Like, the way that she met Harry was so iconic. And just so you know, in these fanfics, Harry is not a band member of One Direction or even a musician or anything like that. He's just used as the male inspiration for each of the books. And Harry is the cousin of Drew's best friend. I forgot his name, sorry. But what happens is that she doesn't really like boys. She doesn't get along with them very well, and Harry is very insistent on being around her and being her friend and trying to get her to open up. And she told him that she would hang out with him when pigs flew. And what he did, this man literally bought a porcelain pig with wings on it, and it made her have to go out with him to like get to know each other better. So that's kind of the gist of the book, and it's so good. There's a lot of humor in it. There's also some spice scenes. Like I said before, it's not all about spice. It has a plot and character development, and you really get to know these characters and some of the traumas that they've been through. So search, well, you can't really search up trigger warnings because it's on Wattpad, but just be mindful. It's a very good book, but like I said, she hasn't really written anything for it in a really long time, and I don't know if she will ever finish it, but where she left off is really good. So if you want to check it out, you should. So one of the last Harry Styles fanfic books that I have as a recommendation is Ariel, and this is literally my favorite Harry Styles fanfic and probably favorite Wattpad story that I have read. And I've read quite a few Wattpad stories, and this book literally had me feeling like I went through the worst breakup of my entire life. I cried so much. But just so you know, it is set in second person. And I know some people are very particular about the point of view that they read, but once you keep reading it, you kind of don't even notice that it's in second POV, and you get used to the language, and her writing is immaculate. So in this book, it kind of, if you've read Taylor Jenkins Reads and you've read Malibu Rising, it gives kind of the same vibes of like beachy and set in a different time era. So this one is also set in Malibu, but it's set in the 60s. And what I love about all of these authors that the mixtapes, what I love about the previous author and this author is that they have music, so you can really feel everything. And I really love the music choices that all of the authors use for every one of their books. So with Ariel, it follows a girl, and you don't know her name because it's, like I said, it's set in second POV, and it's through her lens, and all you get is you said blah 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 blah, and she is referred to as you. And so she moves to Malibu in order for her to find a job. I think she's a dancer, and Harry is an aerialist. So what that is basically like Zendaya and Zac Efron in The Greatest Showman. You know how they do trapeze work and stuff like that? That's what Harry does, and he needs a new partner. The girl places an application there, and they call her to go and do an interview for the job position. And Harry is very reserved, and he does not talk to anybody, and his exterior is very much oozes power, And so he saw her and basically didn't even stay to watch her perform and said like, absolutely not, she's not gonna do it. And he didn't like any of the people that tried out throughout that time period. The owner of the place basically calls her back and tells her that she got the job because he doesn't want Harry's decisions to be the reason why they can't find a new partner for him. And so she starts working with him. And I really love this book because her writing is so good. The way that she describes things is so it's so amazing, and it's very funny. And the nicknames that they have for each other, the crude nicknames, are really funny because it's set in that time period of the 60s, and it's just a really good book. So if you're looking for any Wattpad romance books, you should definitely read Ariel. It's so good, and it's Aerial for those of you who are wondering, and it's by Peanut Boyfriend. So if you want to check it out, you should. And those are all of the Harry Styles fanfics that I have. So there is another author that I really enjoy reading, and the name of the author, give me 1 second, let me look it up. It's the Fevered Bookaholic. I love all of the books that she's written. So she has a lot of different books, and all of her books are not the same as the other. She has some series in it as well, and she is able to write such separate stories for each of the books that she has, which is really amazing. And I can't believe she hasn't been published because her work is phenomenal. I spiraled and read every single one of her books after reading one book, which is called Sweet Spot. And for this series, it follows a girl named Sierra, and she just moved to San Fran because she wanted to open up her own bakery, and she's opening up her shop there. And she finds out that her neighbor is this guy. His name is Holden, and they used to be best friends when they were growing up, and something happened to them and they became enemies. And Holden is a sports agent, and so it's like them bumping uglies, and it's an enemies to lovers romance. It's very entertaining, and she is a very funny, so it makes you laugh. So this is what got me into her work. But the second book is called Soft Spot, and that one is way better than Sweet Spot, and it follows some of the characters from Sweet Spot. So Soft Spot follows two people, and the girl's name is Harper and the guy's name is Sawyer, and Harper and Sawyer work for Holden from Sweet Spot, and you can tell Sawyer has been hitting on her for the longest time, and Harper just brushes it off and thinks that he's just joking because she's not a very confident girl and doesn't know how beautiful she is. And Sawyer takes these rejections like a champ because she doesn't believe that he likes her, and he just does little jokes to like brush off the fact that she has been rejecting him. And she needs a fake boyfriend because her parents are coming, and she's half Chinese, and they're very strict, and she's been telling them that she's had a boyfriend so that she doesn't have to talk to them as much because she's not very close to them. And so now she has to find a boyfriend for her to introduce to her parents and pretend to fake date. And I know that fake dating and stuff like that is kind of sometimes done very well, and sometimes it's just like, oh, whatever's, you know, it's a basic story and the plot line is the same for all of them. But this one is really good, and Sawyer is one of my favorite book boyfriends of all time, because the way that he does things for her is so lovely. And oh my goodness, he's just so funny. He just breathes and I die laughing. So you should definitely check out this series if you want to find new Wattpad books to read. Also, another one of her series that's very good is the Fighter's Den series. It's all boxing books for different characters. So each male character is a boxer, and they've been boxing at this gym, and so each book gives each of those boxers a time to shine and be like trained to be a boxer and actually do boxing sets. So it has 5 books in total, and I really enjoyed reading this series. Each of the books follow different girl and guy characters, and they each get introduced slowly throughout the series. So it's like she gives you a little bit of crumbs that make you realize that, oh, she's gonna write this next couple in the next series, because you want to find out which couple ends up with who, and they're all friends or they get introduced to each other through friends. So it's very interesting to see. I would say it's definitely very like found families. You can tell that they all care about each other so much, and they are all ride or die for each other. So each of the books is really good. I didn't really like the first book. I never really finished reading it just because I thought there was too much spice scenes in it and not enough plot or character development in it. So I didn't read it, but I read the rest of the books except for I didn't read the first or the fourth one, but I read the second, third, and fifth one. And my favorite, I would have to say that my favorite one was the fifth book, just because his was the most mysterious character, since he hasn't said a word since meeting all of them and going to the gym to box. So I am very drawn to mysterious characters, and he was definitely mysterious, and his story definitely did not disappoint, but it was very sad to read. So if you're looking for a sports romance, then you should definitely check out this series. And again, it's by the same author, the Fevered Bookaholic. I literally just realized that I only have like 3 authors in this video, but they are really talented, and I feel like they should definitely get published soon because their writing is immaculate. So for her, the Fevered Bookaholic, her last book that I really enjoyed reading is a book called Knox, and it's a dark mafia story. And I don't like mafia books on Wattpad because I don't like women being degraded and women being basically submissive to the male in the way that, oh, he's a mafia leader, so I have to do everything that he says because he has power over me or whatever. I hate that so much. But in this book, it's an arranged marriage between a mafia leader and another mafia leader's daughter. And this book, I can tell you right now, is not cringy at all. She is a very defiant, and she lets him know that she hates the whole arranged marriage thing, and that she was forced to do this out of her against her will. And I love how outspoken and confident she is. She never cowers in fear before him, which I really admire in characters, because I hate, like I said, that some of the female characters are shown as very weak in mafia stories that are told on Wattpad. That's why I don't really like reading dark romances on Wattpad, because it's either a lot of spice or I love a degrading romance, but when it's not done in a way where women are seen as weak. And this one does have degrading stuff in it, and it's very good and well written. It's not cringy at all. So if you're looking for a dark romance mafia story, then you should definitely check out that book. It's called Knox, again by the Fevered Bookaholic. And those are all of the Wattpad books that I have to talk about. So if you want, well, I don't really have any more good Wattpad books on my list because all of the other ones are just cringy in a way, or it's too much spice and not enough plot or character development. I'm a sucker for character development and books that have a lot of plot in it, and if it doesn't have that, then I grow so bored so easily. So with Wattpad books, I just DNF and continue DNFing. So what I do when I don't have a book to read, like a physical copy of a book to read, I go on Wattpad and reread the books that I just told you about, because those are the only books that I found that are really, really good and meet my expectations for reading. Anyways, that is all for today, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.